Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week 3 of the Earthbound Super Series Boogey Percent Tournament, a 2-1 matchup between Heiko and JSR. Good evening, everybody. I'm Leslie Pro, and I'll be calling the action tonight as both runners are looking to move on to the 3-1 stage of the 5-week Swiss. The fastest time for our runners as we're getting underway, Heiko's week 1 time of a 1:08 was his fastest, while JSR's last run in this tournament was the fastest. And we are starting off with the opening cutscene as we start with our runners sleeping. Not really, but in-game. Well, let's just say a loud crashing noise outside would wake up just about anybody, myself included. There's a prediction for chat to have some fun with. Our runners start by going into Tracy's room to get the cracked bat, our first source of offense in the game. From here, it's a straight shot to the meteorite. Rather as close to it as we can get. And note that neither runner's getting that gift box as it holds a bread roll, but more importantly, there's an enemy coming up called a spiteful crow that can steal an item in your inventory, and if you grab that bread roll, it can and will get stolen. And no one will ever know except for you. Or in this case of our runners, all of chat. Heiko's already back home, and there's JSR. And talking to Ness's mom is the only way to advance that. And now, to make the night even more sleepless, an annoying knock. Now, we all know somebody who's got either an annoying knock or they spam the doorbell. That's the case with Porky. He's got a very annoying knock, and it is obnoxious. And now, changing out of the jammies for the last time, as we are about to really get underway in earnest, we have to take Porky with us. And JSR is getting some pretty bad NPC luck in his own home. Now, the dog is optional here. While helpful, it's optional because taking the dog with you does trigger an extra cutscene when you get to the meteorite. And also, the phone has to be answered before you leave the door. this is before 2000s, where cell phones were basically everywhere. And JSR getting a bit of a better break with the enemy spawns pulls slightly ahead. And JSR not getting the extra bread roll. And Heiko wants no part of any fights here, which is ideal for this run because then you get the level up off the Starman Jr. fight. Otherwise, you'd have to beat a runaway dog, which with just Ness is not ideal. Now JSR triggers the Buzz arrival cutscene, as does Heiko. Also, shout outs to JSR naming the fourth party member WTF because you do not get the fourth party member at all during Boogey Percent. And truth be told, I tried leaving the house without taking the dog when I first played Earthbound all those years ago. It didn't work out, admittedly. And now we're coming up on the first boss of the game, and if you've played Earthbound Beginnings or Mother 1, you'll be very familiar with Starman Jr. Different moveset in this game, but it's basically an automatic fight because Buzz keeps you alive through Psychic Shield Sigma. I see different strats here. Whoa! Smash attack from Buzz. While Heiko's going for auto strats, JSR going for manual menuing. And Heiko gets through first. JSR not too far behind, both runners having a nice crit in that fight. And now we meet Porky's parents, which, honestly, I can't excuse Porky's actions as a character, but when you see the shenanigans that go on with his parents, it's hard to see where the faults come from. They start at home. And press F for Buzz. Now, interesting little notes about the item pool that you have in Earthbound, rather your inventory, is you only have 14 slots total in your inventory. Your key items and your weapons take up those spots too, so you're really limited on what you can carry, but this run, our runners will show that that is not much of a problem. Although, admittedly, if they ever remaster this game, I would love to see that fixed. Oh, and Heiko takes a back attack from a coil snake. JSR steps ahead due to getting no encounter whatsoever. But in terms of levels, Heiko is ahead because that 1 EXP was enough to get to level 3. So our runners not only pick up the Mr. Baseball cap, but a hamburger, and will be pulling money here in order to be able to afford better equipment. And JSR is taking a save with a rather noticeable number in the dollar amount. Actually, he's going to sell the Mr. Baseball cap in order to get the T-ball bat as well as the cheap bracelet for better offense and defense. I think Heiko just mismenued and accidentally bought a second cracked bat. And does pick up a baseball cap on top of it for some slightly improved defense on other. Not as good as the Mr. Baseball cap, but with it being $99, it's a great source of early money. And by beating Polo Punk, JSR gets a hamburger. And now coming up, our runners are going to be closing in on the first real tough fight of the game, and that's Frank. Frank can be not so nice. The worst move our runners don't want to see is brandishing a knife because that does a lot of damage. JSR hits level 4. And JSR's past Yes Man Jr. And uses the bread roll to get to full HP. And probably the best part about the Frank fight, I'd argue, is the music. Okay, swinging, that's a good one. JSR taking it safe with life up. Oh, there's the knife. Yeah, so there's a lot of HP recovery that happens in this fight. And JSR run is down to 2 PP, so that's going to be a very tough Frankenstein Mark II. Meanwhile, Heiko has a misfire on attack, and Frank is not necessarily being nice to our runners today. And Heiko's in big trouble here, but gets through Frank. That was a close one. Now JSR, both our runners gained enough PP on the level up to be able to cast one more life up. And JSR is past Frank and Frankenstein Mark II. Heiko now at Frankenstein Mark II. And Heiko just gained some time back with that smash attack, which is based off your gut stat. So the timing of that can be really critical. And from here, it's off to City Hall. JSR gets there first. And now with a full set of reserves, our runners will be looking to pick up the key to the shack to make their way to Giant Step. This is going to be the first grind point of the game, and for Boogey Percent, the only grind point, because what our runners are trying to do is grind up to level 8 to where they learn PK Rockin', or if you're familiar with Mother 3, it is known as PK Love. Side note, I always love the mayor's text in this. But before that, a little bit of shopping to make sure you have enough food in your inventory. And once the lady behind the counter says, oops, you have too much stuff, your inventory is now maxed out. So to start, JSR's grind is 4 attack slugs. This has the potential to be troublesome because the slugs attack in numbers, and if you don't one-shot a slug after 4 turns, it'll be able to cast Hypnosis, and that's bad news. Meanwhile, Heiko getting 2 Rowdy Mouse spawns to start. And that's not good because Rowdy Mouse have a high chance of smashing. Now Heiko starts his grind on 4 attack slugs. JSR and gets a bomb drop. That is a 1 in 128 chance to get that to drop from an attack slug, and JSR got it. That is huge, folks, because you do not get that kind of offense readily available until 3'd. But now JSR is having attack slug spawn troubles, while Heiko just one-shotted 1 slug, and now JSR gets into a second battle. At 108 experience points each, this is a good grind spot for this point in the game, or in fact, the best. Now Heiko with a smash, which is nice. The level we're looking for is level 8. And if a bomb happens to drop from one of these, that's even better. Heiko to level 7. And JSR to level 7. So in terms of the experience grind, Heiko is slightly ahead. However, JSR has that bomb in his inventory, so I'd say it's fairly even right now. And Heiko now looking for another battle using stutter steps to avoid drawing the attention of that rowdy mouse, which is so important here because that is one battle you do not want to get into because it has a high probability to smash, and that'll deal a lot of damage quickly. JSR taking a pit stop and gets a skip sandwich. Now, what this does is that you know how there's faster movement options in the rando? The skip sandwich gives you that for 10 seconds, which isn't terrible. Okay, both slugs just tried hypnosis, which not only didn't work, it burned through their psychic points. Only 3 though, so only 81 experience. Tried to go for a back attack, didn't get it, doesn't matter, it's an instant win. And Heiko not able to get the right spawn, while JSR has been able to rather consistently and currently in a battle. And that's level 8 for JSR, so he's definitely ahead. And there he gets Ness's special PSI power, known as Rock. And now if a 6-pack shows up, he can just drop that move and clear it out. Not that he'll need to, but we shall see. Heiko is not quite there yet. And there's a 6-pack for JSR. Before getting rockin', this would be problematic. Oh, speaking of problematic, getting back attacked by a black Antoid. This is a worrying enemy for 2 fronts. It hits hard, it has life up, and it can call for help. So, and thankfully Heiko is through. That fight could have gotten out of hand really fast. JSR stuttering carefully, and he's out of there. No luck on getting a magic butterfly to spawn. They do commonly spawn on this hill. So, if a runner needs psychic points, there you go. Now, the gift box here has another hamburger in it, but JSR doesn't need to pick it up. JSR not able to one-shot the black Antoid, does get it down in 2 shots, and it drops a cookie, which JSR does not need because the cookie only restores 6 HP. Now JSR into the boss room. Now for Titanic Ant. Just the way you want to do this fight, drop Rockin', which takes care of the 2 Antoids in the back. They only cast life up, even if it's not needed. And now JSR is going to use Rockin' to get... Whoa, that smash! That is such bad luck! Are you kidding me? JSR had such a good setup heading into that fight, and the game says no. That is some just awful RNG. You hate to see it. And now JSR is going to have to go back up some hill again. That is a painful time loss. You hate, like I said, you hate to see it. I think that was the one thing that could have potentially stopped him from beating Titanic Ant on that trip. So, when you take a death in Earthbound, you restart with 0 psychic points, so JSR is going to have to clean this fight up using physical attacks only. And all his healing is going to come from the hamburgers in his inventory. Plus, on top of that, half the money that was remaining in JSR's wallet at time of defeat vanishes. You lose it. So what JSR is trying to do is get back up to where he was, using single enemies, instant wind swirls when possible. Unfortunately, this was a black Antoid. The advantage is not with him because it can also smash on a rare occasion. And speaking of rare occasions, I swear, game just, wow. I'm not over that yet, so bear with me, folks. But now Heiko heads up to Titanic Ant. Will he have better luck than JSR? JSR is now a bit behind as a result of that. But let's see what happens. Pretty high rolls there on Rock, and Heiko, taking no chances, goes for the burger strat to get to max HP. JSR went for it, and it didn't pay off on his attempt. So now it's all bash attacks for Heiko, while JSR has a bomb in inventory. Well, this is not good because the Antoids are calling for help. Now to further slow it down, a Shield of Light, which is going to reduce the damage the Titanic Ant's gonna take, and Titanic Ant's being a bit of a spammer. And Heiko is through just barely. Let's hope this time goes much better for JSR. Gonna agree with chat, the bomb can be the saving grace, but just has to go right at this point. 75 on the first rock, and that's middle of the range. Oh, that's low on the range. And JSR is letting it fly. 70, that's not great. And Titanic Ant spamming shield, but now JSR is through. That was, Ant still wasn't nice because JSR's psychic points got drained away to the point of where life up couldn't be cast. Although, to be fair, JSR got the worst Ant possible because of the second turn smash that took him out. But yes, all things considered, it's still within reach for JSR here, as we still got a ways to go. Now JSR is removing all equipment. Interesting strategy. think JSR's trying to death warp? And trying to do it off a Rowdy Mouse, which tends to be quick without equipment because of its high tendency of smashing. But when it doesn't smash, it's not going to do a lot of damage. And it's missing as well. Meanwhile, Heiko is on to the Onett police force with the first battle. And wins it, but it's a gauntlet. Gotta win all 5. Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, it might have, considering where he saved from. I mean, it can't. I mean, yeah, I'll go with chat. If a lot of things go right, but in that instance where the Rowdy Mouse just kept missing and kept not getting smashes, maybe not. But hindsight is 20/20, as they say. Now JSR started the officer gauntlet, and he's a couple behind on that front. That's one done. And now Heiko gets a level up right before Strong. Because the last guy pieces out, wants no part of it. And Captain Strong on Heiko's end takes a swing and a miss. That swing connects for 25 while JSR drops a burger to heal up. With that, Heiko's on his way to Tucson. And picks up a free hamburger. I guess for these cops, it's not the donut shop, it's the burger shop. And a smash to finish off that one. Actually, the third strongest was the smart one who opted out. And Strong starts off by losing his temper on JSR's side. Whoa, that's not good but as strong as Captain Strong was hitting, JSR got over the top and gets through with 2 rockets. So all those battles we've been fighting have given us quite the bank account, because it's through those battles that money gets deposited into Nessa's banking account. So to start, Heiko has to face a runaway dog, which in Tucson tends to be accompanied by a cop and a second dog. Not the case this time. JSR is into Tucson while Heiko is at Apple Kid, which is why Heiko pulled money from the ATM, which requires any food item, any sort of food item will do, plus $200, and you get a receiver phone that Apple Kid uses to call the party throughout the journey. One such spot is coming up. But I do like this safety save by JSR here, because if he goes down again, he'd go back to his last save, which would be back in 09. So right now, Heiko is heading to Peaceful Rest Valley. You need to go pay a visit to the pencil statue before you are even able to go any further, at least in Tucson. Now JSR is having a bit of trouble with the enemy spawns, because they're spawning at the wrong time, in the wrong place at the wrong time. Every Earthbound runner's worst nightmare. And it's worth noting that seeing the pencil eraser, or rather the pencil statue on the screen is what triggers the cutscene, not actually checking it. Something I got wrong all the time as a kid. There's the phone call for Heiko. No, that's not my phone ringing this time. So now Heiko has been summoned to Berglund Park, which there is an optional fight if he so chooses against Everdread, but that's a bit of a time sink in this run. And the enemy spawns are now starting to cause a little bit of trouble, but with all the trees and signposts there are a number of things that enemies can get caught up on. And Heiko is going to take on Everdread. And Everdread does try to steal something, but this time he is failing. Whoa, nice crit. I mean, you get 986 experience points, so I can sort of see why, but it is a bit of a time investment. So Heiko has the pencil eraser. JSR is heading straight for Apple Kid, and this is going to close the gap considerably, which is the trade-off when you take on Everdread. I don't don't think we saw such a save from Heiko, and we are not from JSR. I know JSR saved in the department store. If Heiko did not save in the department store as well, then any sort of death, accidental or otherwise, would send him back to Onet. And that would be a huge time loss. Meanwhile, Heiko not getting kind to enemy spawns. And now they're both in the same spot. And JSR pulls ahead because for a moment and is the first one through with Heiko not too far behind. Back and forth we go in this Boogey percent tournament race, and I love it. About a 3 to 4 second difference right now. That's how close it is. A lot of this comes down to RNG. Heiko taking a second to get some PP via the magic butterfly. That does help. Especially with how the enemies can inflict colds here. By this point, our runners know healing alpha, which does cure colds. However, that's 5 psychic points that are not at your disposal. And right now, JSR getting the much faster path than enemy spawns. As I say that, a diamond enemy shows up, but JSR despawns it, no problem. JSR rounding the corner and heading for Happy Happy Village. Heiko very close, just waiting on the enemy spawns to give them a break. In fact, both runners waiting for that. JSR taking a side trip to pick up an item here. It is the Cup of Life Noodles. I believe JSR has every intention of depth warping back to Tucson after rescuing Paula. That Cup of Life Noodles will revive Paula instantly. Meanwhile, while Heiko's through, JSR is having trouble with In the Name of a Territorial Oak. A great way to get away from enemies in Earthbound, put them to sleep, and then run. It's a strategy that's worked many a times in many an ancient KFC. I typically play a lot of randomizer, but I do enjoy my speed runs as well. Earthbound especially. And JSR is heading for the drugstore. Upgrades the Sandlot Bat and the Holmes Hat. Two good purchases here. While Heiko picks up the Franklin Badge, which is required to face Car Painter. But what's also required is this annoying fight against a Spiteful Crow and two Happy Happyists. Going straight for the rock and strats. Does not get the Spiteful Crow, and both cultists will need one more attack to go down. Now, the deal with the Spiteful Crows is that they have a high luck strat, so if you try to swing at them, there's a very good chance of a miss, and they're fast enough to where rocking may or may not work. Or Ness isn't fast enough. Either or, take your pick. Heiko's on his way back, and now here's JSR's fight. Oh yeah, these cultists call for help, and that can make a fight go much faster. Does get one of the cultists taken out, and then opts to just take a swing, and the crow steals a hamburger. no one will ever know except the runner in Twitch chat. That's a pretty big level up on the HP side. Now here comes JSR's return to Happy Happy Village, and Heiko is in the Cultist Center with the required fight, which with these cultists, you can just two-shot them easily. And JSR is stopping to get NA. I'm not sure the point of that, as this is not the Ancient Cave randomizer where Chickens Freed gets tracked, but he does pick up a skip sandwich. Here's Heiko taking on Car Painter. JSR taking the required fight down the stairs, and he's done with that. One lightning reflected back, that does an insane amount of damage, but Car Painter also knows life up, so if you don't stack that damage quick, he could heal it off real fast. There's a crashing boom bang, the reflect back, and Car Painter is down for Heiko just as JSR's getting there. Crashing boom bang completely missed on JSR's side. And Crashing Boom Bang goes 0 for 4 for JSR. Yep, and he's going to need that egg here. Oh for 6? Yikes! This is a tough Car Painter for JSR. And now he's getting into a little bit of trouble here. Oh, and JSR pulls through with 1 HP. Holy smokes, that's about as close as it gets. If that HP was a little bit lower on the damage, he would have lost an insane amount of time. The only thing that does is set him up perfectly for a death warp, but holy smokes, that was a cardiac moment if there was to be one, because the lightning went 0 for 8. Like, that is just unreal. That is like completely against the odds. Wow, what a race. Heiko's setting up the Death Warp inside of Lilliput Steps on a mole playing rough. There goes Ness. And that's a gut save on Paula's side, on Heiko's side, and now gets the Death Warp at 48:39. I'm curious to see where this will be on JSR's time, because he doesn't have to remove any equipment. That's how low his HP is. I don't think they decided for a Crow Death Warp as much as the Crow just decided, I'm going to attack. So now Heiko is setting up to get through. First Polestar Preschool. JSR gets the Death Warp. It's about a 1 minute difference at this point. In large part at this point due to Car Painter RNG. I've never seen Car Painter just completely miss nests like that. Although because of how the Death Warp was done and JSR didn't have to take any equipment off, I think he got back a little bit of time through menu. Wait, he took it off, never mind. Heiko gets the $10,000. Coming up on Heiko's side is a little bit of a musical interlude. Now JSR hits it here, but triggers one of the picture spots. I don't think he was trying to do that, as that is some lost time, but I will say this. Fuzzy Pickles! But if you're trying to do a serious speed run, that's not the time for Fuzzy Pickles. Now's a good time for your animated dance emotes, I think. $52.46 completion of that for Heiko. Now Heiko's moving on to Threed. The driver yells at the sidewalk to get out of the way. I don't know why, but as a kid, that always struck me as funny. So now we are definitely in cutscene territory, and now these ghosts, They don't like anything too loud, upbeat, or cheery. The Runaway 5 tour bus is perfect in that regard. Heiko off the Runaway 5 tour bus at 54:51. JSR starting that trip right now. And now Heiko making the trip to the graveyard. Does have an enemy spawn to contend with, but gets around it nicely. Some of the enemies in 3 are really nasty, especially the zombie possessors or zombie processors. What they do for an attack is they can possess you with a mini ghost. Very problematic. You can only get rid of that with a healer. Now that the zombies have seen Heiko, the next cutscene trigger is at the Threed Sunset Hotel. Well, let's face it, Threed's in perpetual twilight as it is. Actually, rather, darkness would be more appropriate. JSR now starting Threed as Heiko has had Ness and Paula kidnapped. Whatever will we do? JSR clean through the graveyard, hardly any enemy spawns to speak of. That's going to get him back a little bit of time here and there. But remember, JSR took that Death to Titanic Ant and had a car painter fight just about take him out. It was that close. I hope somebody clipped it because that was amazing. Now JSR is going to be starting the Winter's cutscene shortly. Heiko gaining control of Jeff in the cutscene as it plays out. As Jeff's best friend Tony said, it's dangerous to go alone. You better get some stuff. Max, who runs Maxwell Labs, seems to have a solution, but this bent key would be better off for the recycling bin because it's bent and doesn't work. And you only have to try it on the one locker. As a kid, I tried it on every single one, thinking something would happen. Nope. So now with the correct key, we'll be able to get some items out of the lockers. Specific lockers only. Holmes' hat, as well as a pop gun. There's one other thing that you can get, but it's not relevant. I believe it's a broken air gun. You're not going to have time to fix that in the span of this run, so there's no point in grabbing it. At this drugstore, you do have to stop and pick up a pack of bubblegum to pick up Bubble Monkey, the required companion for your trip through winters. And he stays pretty close, except occasionally he'll just stop, take a look around, and realize, oh, wait, I'm following this guy. Does help in combat, especially against certain enemies that are in winters. There's runaway dogs, spiteful crows, and an exclusive enemy to this area, rough goat. These guys hit hard, but they're still beatable. And chat pointing out that Heiko did not get a green swirl on runaway dog. Bit of misfortune there, but not the worst thing that could have happened. As JSR gets the bubble monkey, Heiko taking the pit stop for some stew. Well, a good stew can really power you through the night. And on this first stop, you always repair the broken spray can, which gets you a defense spray. This is an item that any party member can use to increase your defense for one battle. Also a bit unfortunate for Heiko to have Bubble Monkey not right there when he got to the spot for using the bubblegum to trigger the Tessie cutscene. And JSR's entering the Tessie Washer Club tent for his stew. Not the best RNG there on the movement, but it's the way it goes. Right now, JSR was trying to get around a camera trigger, unable to do so due to an NPC that was in the way. That's twice this run. It seems like, honestly, for this run, for JSR, it's been a case of Murphy's Law. Whatever bit of RNG that could have gone wrong, that could have cost him dearly, has. Titanic Ant, 2 camera spots, and car painter. I swear, sometimes RNG can be just obnoxiously bad, which I can understand why on RTAs runners reset a lot, because that just takes away time from other attempts when that happens. But when you're in a race, you don't do that. You play it as it is. Now, because Jeff doesn't have the pencil eraser, he'll have to go through Brick Road, a mini dungeon, which does have some scripted enemies inside. Tries to get pop the present open, doesn't happen. That is something cool you can do to the gift box enemies, but it's just a visual appeal. And JSR is about done with the Tessie ride while Heiko finishes off a worthless protoplasm. It is worth noting that worthless protoplasm can call for help, but that doesn't happen very often. It's worth noting in this section, if you do fall, you restart past the Tessie cutscene. And Heiko is taking on a mad duck. Trying to hit these ducks seemed to be the maddening part. Now JSR is in Brick Road. Not able to step by the worthless protoplasm. I have seen that done by a couple of folks. And Heiko tried to do the same, but nope, no dice. And Heiko is out of Brick Road. Does not stop for the free heal, is pressing on. I believe you can manipulate that Mad Duck. Oh, I was about to say JSR was about to manipulate the Mad Duck to get past. No dice. The Mad Duck says no. Oh, and he takes another death. That's gotta be tilt, I think. That is extremely unfortunate. Wow. The luck JSR has had this run has just been rough. But as chat says, it's not over yet, folks. There's still the enemies that are in... Ooh, Heiko getting back attacked by 2 attack slugs. They don't hit hard, but they sure are annoying due to them attacking in numbers. Not to mention a time loss. JSR swings down for the present, gets a croissant. This is a healing item, and a good one to have for this part of the game. Wow! Bubble Monkey just would not stay with JSR, otherwise he had it. Heiko, on the other hand, is trying to get through Milky Well. No, this isn't Milky Well. This is Rainy Circle. I blame the player's guide for getting those 2 backwards. Or some resource did. And Heiko stopping for the present. This is a bottle rocket, which serves as a nice backup to have for what's to come. JSR getting unlucky with enemy spawns. And almost got caught by a mushroom from behind. That would have been real bad luck. And now, Bubble Monkey's about to take off. Because that's just how Bubble Monkey be. JSR pops the present, gets a hamburger, and gets out of there, leaving 2 attack slugs in his wake. Meanwhile, Heiko has gotten to the lab. No problems with the cave boys. JSR getting bad spawn luck. And stop and... Wow, game. Can you just be nice to the runners, please? Or is that asking too much? Also worth noting, when you start the Sky Runner, if you don't start it right away, Heiko, which Heiko does, Dr. Randomness will yell at you to press the button on the controller. Now JSR gets the despawning and is in the last Bubble Monkey scene of using the pack of bubblegum. Heiko flying off to 3. This basically comes down to the tent at this point. And JSR gets the bottle rocket because outside of the big bottle rocket, your bottle rocket's your next best DPS here. Chat brings up a good point. We'll either or get the teddy bear, because the teddy bear will help in creating a decoy for the Boogey tent fight. I could see Heiko doing that. JSR, he's gotta be feeling behind with what has transpired in this race, but he's really close. Like, he's like a I swear, if he didn't die to Titanic Ant, the shoe's probably on the other foot here. But that's how RNG works, folks. Sometimes it gives, sometimes it takes away. Now, the Skyrunner has to make a landing, but it is not a smooth landing. A little damage? That might be a little bit of an understatement. And Heiko has Party out of the grave, out of the jail. But an enemy spawn right there has to retreat temporarily. Yeah, the teddy bear's right there. Heiko picks it up. And enemy spawns are forcing Heiko's path away from the streets. Stopping off to get a bottle rocket or two. Oh, just one more, just to be on the safe side. And here we go. Heiko approaching Boogey Tent. And I am not going to try and make that noise. I would rip my vocal cords in half. Here goes Big Bottle Rocket. 421, that's not enough. So here comes the Bottle Rocket. Teddy Bear takes the hit. 104 off the first Bottle Rocket, not enough. And now various other moves work, and that's it. Boogey 10 is down on Heiko's side. Get your GGs in chat for Heiko, who takes the win. Waiting on the official time here. He's got to get out of the menu first before he can dot done. JSR is going no teddy bear, straight to the fight. No extra bottle rocket. He is going for it. It's the only way I can describe this. And that vanishing of the Boogey Tent. Is time. Iconic has officially finished with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 13 seconds. JSR gets a solidify and takes Boogey Tent down. Get your GGs in chat. This was a really close race, one that could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, Heiko just had the better of the luck between the two runners. And I would not be surprised if that were the case when it comes to fly hunting. I would rather not find out. And with that, JSR has crossed the finish line with a time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 33 seconds. And as Tempo mentioned in chat, in the next 10 minutes, there is another race coming up. Heiko versus Keen Train. And I gotta say, JSR, it was not the photo triggers that were the only thing that cost you a PB. Some of the luck that you got this run really cost you. Like getting Smash Turn 2 by Titanic Ant, that really cost you. More than anything, I feel. So for the next match, yeah, it was my pleasure, Temple. And Uko versus Keen Train. I'm looking to see where that is. That's another 2-in-1 matchup. So, to be honest, if you thought what you saw just now was something, you ain't seen nothing yet. Stay tuned. There's a lot more Earthbound Boogie percent to come.